Aloha and welcome to the video. So in this video I'm going to be repairing the bottom section of the Cook Islands War Club, a staff club that I'd previously made. So my last video, if you caught that video, the top half of the section that broke off, or the top portion rather, I turned that into a single-handed club, and then this section I'm going to be making into a spear. Originally I wanted to use this swordfish bill as the spearhead, but I really want to use that swordfish bill for something else that I have in mind. I've been planning for a while. And so what I ended up deciding to use instead was one of these marlin fish bills. So a marlin bill is this piece here. The reason why I was covered in blue tape was because I had previously wrapped them in painter's tape and then I fill it with epoxy, really slow setting, low viscous, really thin epoxy, and it seeps into the pores and helps seal the bill so that it no longer continues to absorb moisture or change in shape. So I've been holding on to it for a while. So the first step here is I'm going to be setting in the tongue and groove joint. Now I had a ton of ideas on how I was going to do this, and I kind of changed every single one of those ideas. So originally I was going to do this tongue and groove joint, and then I was going to lash the entire bill in place, possibly put in a cross peg, I wasn't quite sure, and then potentially put a feather tassel just below the lash. But when I went to set it in place, and while I was looking at it, it looked kind of cool. I liked the look of the transition between the coral wood and the marlin bill. I thought it was a nice transition. So what I decided to do is I was just going to epoxy everything together and then start shaping on it and go from there and see how it looked. Once the epoxy set and I started to clean it up, I also noticed that as I matched the curvature of the coral wood that was already there from the previous piece to the bill, it looked even more natural. Like it looked really awesome. It was almost like a piece that you would see like in a Monster Hunter game. And so that was kind of the direction I decided that I was going to start taking this piece. Rather than being more of a traditional or realistic inspired piece, I'm kind of doing a little bit more of a fantasy inspired piece. Plus, I think it matches the previous piece I made in my last video out of the head of the pole club. I made that into a single-handed club. It just has that cool rustic look to it. I really liked it. So far, it's turning out pretty awesome. I was very pleased with it. Now because I only really cleaned up this top section of it, after burning it and then sanding off just that little top layer of loose charred wood, oiling it really wasn't that spectacular like it normally was. Usually I'm really excited about the oiling process. I was about this piece too, but just because there wasn't much to oil, I wasn't too worried about it. And then I'm filing down the edges. Previously the edges came to like a blade. They're not doing that anymore. Instead, what I'm doing is I decided I was going to put shark teeth embedded into it, but I wanted to keep the overall design of those wavy, toothy looking curvatures in the wood. So I just thought it'd be kind of artistically appealing and it would look a lot cooler. That being said, the oil did look pretty awesome when I oiled it up, even though it was still just that front section. I'm using a really thick CA glue to set the teeth. Now I cut the actual insets pretty tight, and so it's a nice snug fit anyway, and then the glue is just going to be just a nice solid hold for it. This way I don't have to lash the teeth. It'd be kind of similar to like Native American style weaponry where they would use a natural epoxy from like wood tar or pitch. Now oftentimes they would lash the pitch with like a sinew or some type of wrapping or hair, but in this case I'm just doing this thick super glue just because it's gonna kind of hide a little bit. It'll be clear and it'll mix in with the background, and because I did the actual insets pretty tight, you really won't even see the glue. It'll just look like a nice seamless transition between the shark teeth and the burned coal wood. This is the finished piece. It's a pretty simple piece. It's not overly complex, but man, I love the way that it turned out. A little bit of look at it in the natural light. You can see the transition there, how those waves match the marlin bill. It's a pretty solid feeling piece. I didn't test this piece just because I didn't want to break it again. But it'd be more of a thrusting style piece, and I am 100% confident this would have no issues with that type of stress on it. Well, mahalo nui for everyone that watches my videos. I hope you liked it. If you did, leave me a comment and a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Aloha.